Hello to my Senior to Seniors audience. I'm Jim Mazziotti from the Senior to Seniors podcast. I'm a realtor in North Texas, and my focus is working with seniors and to be a little bit different, to be more transitional than transformational than transactional. So my guest today is someone that I've been looking forward to having for a long time, and I feel so lucky to have secured the time of Deborah Mallow, and she is going to bring some sunshine into our lives. She's going to bring positivity, and I think you're going to be smiling as you listen to what we do. And if you don't like positivity, shut me down right now, right? Shut us down, let us go. But I think this is going to be positive. So let me do a very short intro, and then I'm going to explain why I have a short intro for Deborah Mallow. So Deborah Mallow is your ray of sunshine, a charismatic, enthusiastic, and inspiring motivational speaker and seasoned positive energy success coach. She is also the author of the book, 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck, which shares strategies, solutions, stories, and some science to turn negative habits into positive ones. She's excellent. And listen, I gave Deborah a very short intro, but I've got, oh, you can't see because of my screensaver. I have so many notes, and I found out and discovered so much about you, Deborah. You've done so many things, been so many places, had
I have.
so many vast experiences. And so I hope we can touch on some of those today. So welcome. I'm so glad you're so glad you're here. Thanks for being
And,
here.
and I'm so glad to be here. Yes, we've been planning this for a very long time. And it just goes to show you that it's really nice to wait for the best things in life. Be patient and they happen.
Well, this is happening, and I don't know if I've been so patient because I've been itching to do this. So we're finally here, but we've got
Yay.
a lot to talk about. And
Hey,
you know that my focus, as I just mentioned, is on seniors
yes.
and the senior community. And you deal with all types of people. I know that you speak to a lot of different kinds of groups, right?
Yeah.
You speak to companies, corporations. You coach people into helping them, be their best selves and their companies as well. But one of the things that I wanted to mention at the beginning is I found that shifting mindsets and focusing on positivity can significantly transform my personal and my professional experiences. Have you found that? And how can that, personal and really looking at things positively, how do you feel that that will help seniors like me?
Like all of us at any age. But the one thing about seniors is, and we talked about this, we have perspective.
Mhm.
We know that what really matters, if we want to stop and think about what really matters, when you're younger, you think people are judging you. People are too busy. They're
They
concentrating on
are.
themselves. You worry what other people think. You worry about everything, but as you get older, you see all the things you worry about. And there are studies to prove that too. All the things we worry about rarely ever happen. So having that perspective gives us the ability to enjoy more if we choose to. So let's talk about positivity as seniors and for anybody is it's really a choice. They say happiness is a choice, positivity is a choice. We can
Mhm.
choose to be positive or negative. But the wonderful thing is our brains love patterns. And we can make negative patterns or we can make positive. And if it was my choice, as it is my choice, I choose to make positive patterns. And as we get older, time lessens. We and There's so many things that we could do. We see our abilities. We see
Mhm.
that if we put effort into things, we can accomplish them. So this is the time to go after your dreams. Life isn't over just because you're 60, 70. Look at how many people are really thriving at these age. You you look at Martha Stewart, she's doing backflips. Okay, she
Yeah,
really isn't on
yes,
these commercials. There's a body double, but you think about it, she's 80 years old.
yeah.
It's a mindset. Positivity is a mindset. And I urge everybody to think
Mhm.
about it. As soon as you start to worry, you start to fear, you start to go negative, stop yourself in your tracks. There's simple things you can do. Distract, flip the script, and think about something positive. Think about something good. Say a positive affirmation to yourself and and give yourself a hug. That's what I do. First thing in the morning, I hug myself. I tell
Mhm.
myself I appreciate myself, and I say something nice about myself, and I smile because that stops that cortisol spike that those negative thoughts start percolating first thing in the morning. That has nothing to do with us. It's just a natural thing. So it's how we approach life and how we approach our mindset.
Right. And
Simple.
you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. And I
Perfect.
right. And so you talk about affirmations. I'm part of a company
Mhm.
which is Exit Realty, founded in Toronto, Canada. And I've been with the company for 16, maybe 17 years now. And
Awesome.
one of the cornerstones of the company are affirmations. It's one of those cornerstones in our company. It's practiced by our founder, Steve Morris. There's even an app called
Oh,
Prompter.co, Prompter, which will allow people, anybody, not just realtors like me, to to get daily affirmations on their phone anywhere and be able to start the study and the practice of affirmations. So prompter.ca, I believe is what it's called, but explain how seniors can incorporate uh, positive affirmations into their daily routines to boost their well-being, because this is what we need. We need well-being. How can they do that through affirmations?
it's the words we tell ourselves. It's
Okay,
always that. Our brains can say, tell us we're stupid, we're this, we're that. It's our mindset, but we can flip the script and change that thought process and say something positive to ourselves because there's been studies, negativity can impact your health and well-being. It really
absolutely.
can. It can cause gastro problems, heart problems. It can exacerbate them, that negative energy, degenerative brain disease. There's been lots of studies. I actually wrote an article on that as well because I too was negative and exhausted and burnt out and all of that. And I changed my perspective, my thought process, because I want to enjoy my life. And
So,
why
so,
wouldn't
so
you
when
want
was
to?
that? When was that? Because it doesn't seem like reading through your history, it doesn't seem like you've ever been anything but energized, motivational, and seeking the very best. When was that time that you weren't everything that you could be?
Well, I've always been an overachiever.
Okay.
And that can lead to burnout because you always strive to be the best. And I was first in design for many years, and my husband and I had a design and licensing business. And then I switched direction and went into pharmaceutical sales. And again, I wanted to be the
The
best.
best. Hmm.
And with that, you're not working against or competing against anyone else but yourself because when you're number one there's nobody else to compete with. So there I was, getting up earlier and earlier, not sleeping well, not eating right, running myself ragged. And I just burnt out.
Sure.
And I had an epiphany I live in New York City, in Manhattan, and I had an epiphany on the New York City subway platform that if I don't change my mindset, nothing will ever change. You can go through therapy. Listen, whatever works for people, I applaud. If it's going to help you, that's a good thing. But I knew I had to change myself and make that change. And honestly, I am a really positive person, but we can all be dragged down by
Mm,
the people
hmm
around us or
hmm
things we strive for, and we have to work to have more of a balance. We have to surround ourselves with positive people. I know that's sometimes difficult when it's family members and like that, but negative people, negativity drags you down into that rabbit hole. And we need to be strong enough and love ourselves enough
hmm
to actually fight through that and find the positive in our life because it's only hurting us when we're
Yes.
miserable. Okay, it affects the people around us, and that's not good either. Like you said, when
Uh-huh.
you're happy, you're better for people around you. But if you don't work towards being happier each day. And life is messy. No day will be perfect every single day. It's not possible. We have death, we have different things we have to deal with. But it's how we react to things. It's all about the reaction.
Sure.
Learning to be calm, learning to be patient, learning to appreciate yourself, learning that you can push through things, you can do hard work, and just giving yourself the grace to work through it. And don't be
Mm-hmm.
so hard on yourself. We're of an age that we know perspective shows us that things will, for the most part, I know there's
Yes.
horrible things that happen, but for the most part, things do have a way of working out. Trust the universe, trust yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's get back to affirmations for just a minute. I
Of
know when
course.
I was introduced to affirmations 10 or 12 years ago and began writing them every day and or reciting them every day to begin my day, I had never heard of affirmations. I'm guessing I'm not the only one listening to this today that maybe doesn't know what an affirmation is. So tell me, we didn't practice or rehearse this, but
No.
give me a few of affirmations that you use in your daily life that you might suggest to the seniors or anybody else watching this podcast today. What are some sample affirmations that you use, Deborah?
Okay. And in my book, and every double page, I have a
Yes,
mantra,
you
an
do.
affirmation. It's basically something you say to yourself that brings positive energy. And
Okay.
I said just this morning, I say, today is going to be a great day. I have a podcast with you, and I will bring the positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
Or a simple one that we all know, I am enough,
Mm-hmm.
or I am capable, or I appreciate myself. Anything positive, positive words that you can say to yourself is something affirming yourself. That's what you're doing. You're affirming yourself, your ability, your beauty, your gift, because we all are a gift. And remember, we are who we think we are. So if you
Mm-hmm.
say something positive to yourself, a positive affirmation, if you affirm yourself, that is saying something positive. It's making you feel better. It's making you think about yourself. But there's something that I always say. It's not just saying the words. You can't just give lip service to the words. You have to put the action and the effort behind those words and
Mm,
really make them work for you.
that's key.
Anything else? Words are just words. Like people go, "Oh, I love you," and then they yell at somebody. I mean, or at that person. It's just hollow. So you have to complement it with the action
with
and the
action.
effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you say the words, your subconscious hears the words, and the subconscious believes it because they have no reason not to believe it. And so by constantly, writing the words, saying the words, living the words will, I believe, help you get to that place where you want to be. And that's what, for the seniors listening, that's what affirmations are about. Spend the time to find the positive in the affirmations that you write every day. So let's talk about your book. That's my background, so people can see part of
I
your
can
book
see the
cover.
book, but I just
Yeah,
want to say one thing because
yeah,
we started with this. So with the affirmations, I said that when we first started speaking, that positive habits, our brains love patterns, and we can make positive habits and positive patterns, or we can make negative. But by saying these affirmations, as Jim said, and then putting the action behind it and starting to believe it, and then fully believing it and fully believing that you're a gift and that you deserve, you should honor your dignity and value yourself, doing this makes these positive patterns. And the more you do it, the better you feel. And don't discount the strategy before trying it. Try it first. Don't be
yes.
negative about it. Try it and give it a month or so and see how much better you feel.
Yeah, you're not going to feel worse. There's no doubt about it, right?
No,
So, so
no.
let's talk about your book, which is the
Yay.
background, and you can't see the whole book. So the title is Six Steps to Fewer Days That Suck. And now I got your book on Kindle,
Yes.
and I usually don't. I usually get the regular book so I can make all kinds of notes and scratches and write in the margins and all
I
that.
would have sent you one. I
Oh,
didn't even think.
no, no, no. That's so I got it and I've gone through it. So it's called a transformational guidebook. Would you agree that that's kind of what it is?
Yes.
And so tell me about how you guide people to that transformation in their lives through your book as best as you can in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. So it's it's not a typical chapter. It's not a chapter book
Mm-mm,
at all.
no, no.
It's double pages of everything that we as humans struggle with. No more excuses, walk away from negativity, happiness is a choice, about fear and procrastination. There is everything in there on a double page. And I haven't counted how many. It's 128 pages. It's not a
Hmm.
lot, but
Hmm.
it gets to the point because when you have to do everything on a double page, it's as you read, it's a title, it's a quote, it's a commitment, it's questions, it's solutions and strategies, it's a mantra, it's a short story, and it's action item also, a to do, and tips all on a double page. So it's instant gratification. It's a warm hug for the soul.
Mm.
It's not a personal growth book that yells at you. It actually tries to help you come up with solutions and visuals you can think about when you're struggling with challenging situations in your life because I go through everything. So there's six steps. So
Okay.
there's a, as you know, there's a
Hmm.
double page that starts each step. And then there's eight double pages. And then at the end, there's a wrap up, there's a summary and 10 tips. And then there's a line page for aha moments. It also serves as a workbook because
It
this
does.
started as my guidebook to help me get back on track, to actually journey towards my best life, even though that's trite. I wanted to live my best life. I wanted to maximize my potential, but I wanted to do it with balance. I wanted to do it with joy and really enjoy my days because you just never know in life when it's over.
Yeah.
So, I hope My mom's 91. I hope that I live a long life. But again, I wanted to enjoy and live in the present. When you're worrying and thinking about all these things you fear, you're not in the present. So we need to snap ourselves out of that and live in the present. So this book starts with the decision. That's the first step. And there's 8 double pages that support that. There's a little bit of science in there too, because I find if we understand the science behind like negativity bias, or as I mentioned, our brains like patterns, or how walking helps boost our endorphins, laughing, smiling, all these things, when we understand that, it helps us to be able to actually put it into practice. We see the validity behind doing it when we understand. And that's what I try to do by sharing visuals, sharing funny little quips,
Hmm.
so that when you're going down your rabbit hole, before you do, you say one of them and it snaps you out of it. And then after the decision comes ditch bad habits, and then the pages after that. So, all the things we need to do that. After that, it's the mindset, because it is about our mindset. Our mindset can set us free. We can be happier if we choose a positive mindset. And then comes the action, the actions we take, the attitude, which is different than mindset, and then it wraps up with the commitment.
Right.
It's just really simple stuff. It I didn't want graphs and charts. They're personal growth books that have the graphs and the charts and they explain everything. I try to do it in the most basic, simple way because I was doing it for me. And I'm
Yes.
just like everybody else. I'm not special. I think of myself as a gift as I think of everybody out there as a gift. We all are. We need to value ourselves. And that's what I tried to share in the book. So I said it's a book that gives you a warm hug and gives you suggestions and tips on how to struggle less, how to enjoy more, worry less, and make your life easier. Get out of your own way.
Way, sure. And it's a book that every senior should have. Every senior should have this book. And at the very least, they should find more ways to find the positive in their life. And one of the things that you have, if you'll talk about it for just a second, is your positive energy club,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Talk about that just a little bit because um, your positive energy club of daily decisions is available for everybody. Am I right? By
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely. Just go to my website and we talked about it, the dailydecisions.com, and then do the /inspire and join. And you get newsletters. You can download happiness worksheets, uh, motivational worksheets, feel good activities, simple things that you can do on a daily basis, easy things, nothing complicated. I
no.
do simple. I am a simple person who's just looking to enjoy her life. And that is what I want to share outward. We can all do this if we want to. It is a choice.
Absolutely. And so you emphasize, gratitude. There's so many things. And then you talk about that someone that seniors especially need, because I think there's a lot of loneliness with seniors, is community. So how do you see community fitting into a senior's daily life, the importance of it, and what are your thoughts about the importance of community?
Community, positive community. Let's talk about what kind of community we want to invite in. Really think about the community that you entice, because it really is important. My mom said something really interesting to me. She makes sure to go out every day, even if she doesn't feel like it, because she said if you stay inside, you sit in your jammies, and you don't do anything, that again becomes a habit. So if you get out there, there's so many things that anybody can do. There's senior centers, there's all kinds of clubs, there's so many things, newsletters. I know in New York City, they have all kinds of magazines and different things to actually invite seniors in. And I'm sure it's the same all over the country because
everywhere.
actually they're doing more and more for seniors. And AARP, not to plug AARP, but they also do events all over the country. And they have different things to do for seniors, dancing and
Hmm.
seminars and financial information and anything you want. But there's even more than AARP because I'm sure in every county there is some sort of senior center, and it's
Yeah,
really important to be a part of that. Even they have things at the library if that's your interest, because again, it doesn't have to be a senior center. It depends on each individual's interest. Maybe you want to start a side hustle. What's wrong with doing that? You know, it's easy now with e-commerce and the internet. And don't say that you can't do this, that you can't learn technology, because you know what? They've made technology so simple now. Because why? Because they want to sell you all this stuff.
that's right.
So
That's
they
right.
have to make it user friendly. And libraries, even the
Hmm.
Apple Store, they give classes. So it's not just even a senior center. It could be anything. You can go to the library and take a class on your computer. You can go to the Apple Store and learn a little bit about photo editing, whatever you want to do. I know even craft stores, if you like crafting, I know
Hmm.
they even have different
Classes.
classes that
Hmm.
you can attend, and some things are even free. So it doesn't have to just be a senior center. You just have to be open to looking for things and knowing what you like to do. Because when you like to do it, when you have a passion, a purpose,
Yeah.
you it behooves you to be able to actually put it into action. And I find that at any point in your life, you can take control and try something. Maybe you too want to write a book, or
Hmm.
maybe maybe you want to start a blog, whatever it might be, or maybe you want to start a podcast like Jim. There's so many things. And if you really want to do it, you'll figure out how. The trick is not to overwhelm yourself. Go step by step. We all have to learn sometime. And listen to this. I don't like the word failure. I don't use the word failure. I call it education and growth. Why? Because how could we do anything 100% or even 50% the first time we
Hmm.
try it? There's a
Hmm.
learning curve. So you need to give yourself some grace, take the time, and learn it. Because at the end of the year, you'll be amazed at what you can do. And accomplishment
Hmm.
builds
Hmm.
up your self-esteem. And once you accomplish one thing, you're more apt to keep trying to do something else, to make yourself feel proud of you. Why not? Let's all hug ourselves and feel proud of ourselves because we do have a lot to offer the world. We
Well,
just,
we do. All of us do, right? And part of something that I had underlined on a piece of paper that I have here is you talk about turning negative habits into positive ones, right? And
yeah,
that's just what you've talked about. All the things that you mentioned that if something flew past them that are listening to this and they thought I never thought about that. I wish she'd repeat it. Just listen to this podcast again and hear all the things that you mentioned. But even if you're physically not able to leave your home, okay,
right.
there's a lot of homebound seniors, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You can start by finding positivity and your energy club, your daily decisions at the very least can help people get out of that place where they just think it's over.
Right.
There's nothing for me. One of the things,
Right.
I live in a community called a Del Webb Senior Community, and there's dozens of them around the United States, and it's made up of seniors, kind of the emphasis in my business where I've gone in my business. And when we had it built, um, we had a problem with what are called nail pops. And when nails, after a home is built, sometimes will shoot back out from where they've been nailed in.
Wow.
And so it happens in a lot of new construction. So we were talking to our builder and we said, we've noticed one. And he said, that's par for the course. That happens with a lot of new building. We'll take care of it. We usually wait a little while to make sure they haven't, there aren't more of them so we can take care of them at one time. But he did say, and my point is that in a senior community, especially, there are those seniors who sit in their house all day long. They have no goals. They have really little positivity in their home. They're sitting and they'll see one of the nail pops and they'll focus on it.
Mm.
Their focus won't be on the things that you've talked about today. They're on the nail pops. And so he said, we'll get multiple calls from seniors that say, will you please come and take care of it? I can't stand it anymore because they're focused on the wrong things. So
Yes.
don't focus on the nail pops. Focus on the things that you've talked about today and turn your bad habits into positive ones. So the subtitle of your book is, and the subtitles are really hugely important. And sometimes they go unread because they're not in the bold print. But I always look at subtitles because in the book I wrote, the subtitle was the most important part of it. But what you say is ditch unhealthy habits and unzip a happier you. So, how can someone do that? How can you unzip a happier you?
And it all goes back to choice. And I say, why do you want to be miserable? And you need to ask yourself that. And then think about you don't want to be miserable. You really want to be happier. So you have to flip the script. And again, as many times as you say something negative, you need to flip it and say something positive. Think about it in a with a positive spin, not a negative spin. Keep doing that over time. You will, as I like to say, because I'm all about fewer days that suck and finding your sunshine. You have to find what uplifts you and do that. If you have something to look forward to, it's like people who plan a vacation. Even if you never take the vacation, that anticipation of something wonderful to think about, not nail pops, not what is negative. Because think about this. There's a study out of Penn State researchers, 91% of what we worry about doesn't happen. So if you're worried about the 9% that might happen or might not, you're wasting your time. So
Yeah.
say to yourself, I'm not going to waste my time on negative. I'm better than that.
Hmm.
Say something positive. Again, we're going to come back to positive affirmations. Say something positive about yourself. Remember, Deborah said, honor yourself. You deserve respect. Respect yourself. Self-care. Do something
Self-care.
nice for yourself. Whatever it might be. I understand if you're housebound and you're having struggles, I get it. But there has to be something. Some people are artistic. Some people like to write. Find
Hmm.
something that you like to do that's going to make you look forward, that anticipation of getting out of bed every day and do it. Make a list. I love to, and you know it's in my book because I talk about this. It's never too old. I give plenty of examples of people that are older and accomplished. Grandma Moses,
Hmm.
77 years old, picked up a paintbrush. She always loved art, but
Hmm.
never really had the time to do it. So at 77 years old, look what happened. I'm not saying that you're going to become Grandma Moses and hang in museums. I'm not saying that. But think back on all the things that you love to do and
Yeah.
find something that you can do that you could look forward to. It's all about that, building it up in your mind,
Yeah.
making yourself enjoy more, worry less, and not focus on the negative because it's not it's not serving you well. Don't do things that don't serve you. Don't hang around negative people. Don't do things that don't have your best interest at heart. Value yourself enough. I use that self-worth. Value yourself enough to know that you have to take care of you. You deserve to feel good, but you have to make the choice to do it. And
A-
you can.
And you can. One thing that I think could help people is journaling, just
There you go.
writing every day, and maybe even focusing on the writing that you do today on the things that you wanted to accomplish, but you didn't have the time to do. But now you do. You're certainly not going to win a gold medal at the Olympics if you're a senior. It's unless you're in the senior competition. And is that possible? Yeah, it might be possible. But there are things you can do. And then think about contribution
Oh, that's
because
it.
we have,
Gratitude.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have so much to contribute, not only to our friends, our neighbors, but to our families, to telling the history of our family, the history of ourselves, things that aren't discovered. There's so many contributions, and even contributions to an organization, a charitable organization that needs you. And you might have the talent that you didn't have the time to use when you were working 60 hours a week. So think about contribution as well. So in your book, you talk about decluttering, and just want to just talk about that for a second because in my business, the real estate business, we talk a lot about decluttering, but it's usually decluttering stuff, right? And maybe that's what you're talking about too. You might be talking about decluttering stuff that's here or decluttering things in our lives that are holding us down. And so, talk a little bit about how you see decluttering.
And actually it is. It's our mindset. It's the stuff all around us. It's just everything that weighs us down. That's get rid of the things that don't serve you. And that to me is decluttering, whether it's negative thoughts that keep circling around, circular
Mhm.
thinking, or whether it's all the stuff that overwhelms you because you just don't know where to start getting rid of things.
Yeah, get rid of it because your kids don't want it, people. If you have kids, they don't
Don't
want it. You're
want
just
it.
right. So, get rid of it. Yeah.
They don't want it. The furniture that we once cherished, our kids do not want it.
No, you know what? At this point, even places like Goodwill, they don't even
They
want
don't
it. And
want it either.
yeah, and it's kind of almost insulting. But so what's the one point of your book or in your life, in your coaching, in your speaking? We can't get it all in, 45 minutes, but
Right, of
tell
course.
me what's the one thing that I missed in asking you today that my audience needs to hear that's important for them to hear? What might be one thing that I missed that you would like to say?
Well, I think we said it because I really want to make a statement that we have to value ourselves. We need to look back at our lives and s- not say, I'm not good enough, but say, look what I've done.
Hmm.
And then look back on all the things you worried about, all the things that you feared, and say, they're not, rarely did any of that happen or come to fruition. And now go forward with that knowledge, with that perspective, and do something that's in your heart that you've always wanted to do. And maybe you were afraid to do it, or you knew
Yeah.
that, like with me, I always wanted to do something like this, but I just felt it would never be able to bring the money that some of the other things that I
Yeah. So
did.
you
So
struggled with it.
now,
You struggled with
now,
it, right?
what's that?
You struggled with it, right?
We
That you
we
wanted to, but
all
I don't know if I should.
exactly. And it's really true. And now is the time to do it. Don't get to the end, and I don't want to be morbid, and say, why did I complicate things? You always hear people who are at the end of their lives and they say,
Yeah.
why did I complicate things? Why didn't I just make it easier for myself? Because we really can. We're the ones that build up these stories in our minds, and you tell yourself stories and about other people, about yourself, whatever it is, and rarely do those things happen. So stop it now and actually do something that you've always wanted to do. Get up in the morning, look forward to it. There has to be that one thing. And because at the end, you'll say, why didn't I do this? Don't have regrets. I myself made sure to go after all the things I wanted to do in my life and push myself. I'm not saying push yourself to exhaustion. Do not do that.
Right.
Have a balance. Do the things that you love to do. Maybe it's a side hustle. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's painting, whatever it is, but also balance it with people that you cherish, like your family. Make the time. Don't
Mm,
make excuses anymore. Invite friends to take part and join in, but people that bring you up. Volunteer, help other people, uplift them because that too will make you feel good. There's
mm,
something to be said about doing something nice for somebody else. It actually stimulates the reward center in our brains. There's
it
always a
absolutely.
reason,
Yeah.
and makes us feel good. So do things that are going to make you feel good, accomplishment, and hug yourself every morning. Say something positive. We talked about positive affirmations, whatever it is. Don't say something negative and smile because smiling is gifting happiness. Try it now. When you smile, somehow turning up your lips just makes you feel good. Find
Hmm.
ways to laugh. Laughing boosts our serotonin, makes us feel good. Think about it. Do at least 5 things a day, if not more, that make you feel good. Self-care. Self-care to me is not bubble baths. It's confidence in yourself, value in yourself, doing things that you like, being kind to other people, and being kind to yourself. So
Mm.
let's give ourselves a hug.
Well, I have felt your arms around me
Oh,
today.
awesome.
I have. And I'm sure those that are watching have felt that as well. So, how do people get a hold of you? What's the best method for them to stay in touch with everything you do?
I would value that. My whole goal of doing this really is to help others get unstuck because I know what it feels like and I got unstuck. So I would cherish helping anybody who reaches out. My website is the Daily Decisions, decisions with an S.com. And if you go to the Daily Decisions.com/inspire. You can join my positive energy club. You can download those worksheets we talked about, happiness, motivation, and feel good activities. And there's plenty of buttons on my website. It's really user friendly. Click anything,
Yeah.
something will happen.
Oh, yeah. So, and
Everything's clickable.
yeah, something good will happen. There's no
But
doubt about it.
but everything's clickable on my website. So you can send me an email, Deborah at thedailydecisions.com. And I would love to chat with you. Why not? I answer every email. I am hands-on because my goal, as I said, just to repeat it again, is I want to lift people up. That's my joy. That's my paying it forward. Everybody needs something to pay forward to bring them joy. And that's my joy, helping all of you.
Well, Deborah's not fibbing because she answered my email
Of
and
course,
within minutes of sending an
of
email.
course.
So Deborah Mallow is the real deal. And I
Thank
think
you.
she can be a great partner in your life, a
Love it.
great friend in your life that can help inspire you and help move you forward uh, and just be a great friend. So don't forget that her book is available. It's available right now on Amazon. It's called 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck. Great title because you can't forget that title. There's no doubt about it. It's a great title. And Deborah, I've just got to thank you for spending time with me. And I hope we can do it again. I
Would
hope
love
I
it.
can reach out to you and thank you for making my day better. You did. I
And you made
appreciate
my
it.
day better. And we hope we made everybody else's day better too.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being with me. Have a great day, everybody.